If human design feels complicated, let me simplify it for you. So, if you only knew one thing about human design and that thing could help you day to day and could inform how you move about your life, let it be your human design type. And with your human design type comes your strategy. So, the type tells you, hey, this is how your aura is meant to work. And your strategy is how you work with that energy, how you work with your aura. Your human design type is like a cheat code for how your energy moves within you and how you operate in the world. It really shows you your flow with yourself, with the world, and with the people around you, and can really help you connect to your gifts and your highest expression when you learn how to work with your energy type, and really allows you to surrender to how you naturally are meant to use your energy so you're not fighting against yourself all the time. And when you are feeling in flow with your energy, you have so much more room to use your natural gifts. You have so much more room to find your voice. And for some people, learning how to use your type and use your strategy, it can be kind of a surrender into loving how you naturally are meant to work. Because some people find like frustration in learning about what their type is. Like they want to be a different kind of type. Like it feels like it would be better to be a different kind of type. And that usually means we're having to fight against ourselves to try to be something different than we are when we're really meant to be this specific type. And it can also heal a lot of our relationship patterns when we learn about our own type, but we also accept that everyone is so different in this way, right? Like, I'm not supposed to operate the way my husband is supposed to operate. So I'm a projector and he's a manifesting generator, and we just operate in the world very differently. And so instead of wanting him to be like me or me to be like him, understanding that we are meant to be different and how that can be a strength to our household is really huge and can disrupt and heal relationship patterns of wanting people to be different than they are, or even wanting yourself to be different than you are. Like this practice and acceptance and love for all these different types, because that's an important part of this, is that we need all 5 human design types. Everyone brings something different to the table. Everyone brings a different strength to the table. And we need everyone. And we need everyone to operate how they're meant to operate. I went to this human design retreat that De Luna Human Design put on. It must have been like 2 years ago now. And it was the first time I was physically around a whole group of women who knew what their human design type was. And that alone felt magical. I would say the second part is everyone understanding their authority and really knowing how to tune into their own decision-making power. So that would be the second thing I would want everyone to know about human design. Like if you only knew 2 things, it would be what's your type and what's your authority. But just to speak on the type part, like being around a whole group of women that knew exactly how their energy operates felt so in flow and harmony with a huge group of people. And I've never experienced something like that. Like it came with ease. And it also just showed me how in flow we can all be when we know what our design is, when we know what our type is. And I think the important part of this too is that we don't need to know other people's type to be in flow. Like when we focus on our own and we learn how to use it and listen to it and flow with it, it makes a huge difference. It's kind of fun to know other people's type and even make room for other people to be different than us. Like that is an important piece of it. But today I want you to take away your type and how to lean into your type, because it really can help you find your voice, accept yourself, maybe even challenge some relationship patterns and dynamics that you've experienced throughout your life, whether it's life with your parents growing up, with your siblings, with your partner. Our human design type can show us a lot in that realm. So, welcome into Soul Footing Guidance. I'm glad you're here. Today, we're going to talk about all 5 different human design types, and we're going to go into some pieces you can lean into about yourself, how you work with your type and your strategy, and how to see the beauty and the strength in your specific type and how to lean into it, because each person leaning into their type and flowing with their type truly benefits everyone around them. Like, you can tell the difference in, for example, a projector who knows they're a projector and loves that about themselves versus a projector who is like pissed that they're a projector and they're trying to be a generator. It matters. And it matters because you deserve to accept yourself fully, and accepting your type is a big part of that. I love how complicated and complex human design can get, but it really does start with understanding your type and your authority first. That allows every other part of your chart to feel expansive. If you don't already have it, please go to my website at soulfootingguidance.com to get your human design chart, to learn what your human design type is, because then as we go through them today, you can learn about them. So we're going to start with, who should we start with? Let's start with manifestors. So manifestors have a really impactful presence. They're often people where you can feel in a manifestor when they walk in the room. Manifestors are, you can't necessarily read into them the same way that you can other types. There's almost like a block that their aura puts on them. And manifestors need a lot of freedom and independence. And the strategy that manifestors are meant to use is informing the people around them about kind of everything that they're thinking, wanting, because people around manifestors don't know what they're thinking and don't know what they want and don't know what they're about to do. I always think of it as like, if you're sitting at a table with a manifestor and a generator and all the different types, and let's say a generator gets up and they walk out of the room, people are like, oh, okay, they probably had to go to the bathroom, or maybe they had to, or they just are like, okay, because people can read into generators more. If a manifestor gets up and walks away from the table, people are like, where are they going? Did they go to the bathroom? Are they okay? Right? People are, because they can't read into the manifestor as much, they notice when a manifestor walks away. Versus if a manifestor is like, I'm going to go do this, and then they just get up and do it, right? A manifestor is not meant to necessarily ask for permission to do the thing, right? That's not why they're informing. They're informing because of their impact, and then they just go do the thing. And everyone else around them is like, oh, okay, right? As soon as they inform, people around a manifestor are like, oh, got it, right? It's like the informing is what gives manifestors more freedom and independence. And it can be really hard for manifestors to do that. Like, informing can be a big challenge for some manifestors. It can feel unnatural. So it's something that helps them get the freedom that they need. But also, some manifestors can feel worried that they're going to kind of get controlled by other people if they inform and share, when it's actually the opposite. Manifestors are here to initiate. They are not meant to be people who have consistent energy all the time. They're really people who get these bursts of energy and then need to kind of pull back in these bursts of energy when they're called to initiate something. And when a manifestor speaks, I always think of it as like these sparks or these light bulb moments for other people. They truly initiate other people into action or curiosity or whatever it might be. When manifestors learn how to own this impactful presence and learn how to inform, they find their voice in trusting that like they get to just say whatever is on their mind and whatever they're thinking. And it allows manifestors to feel more in flow when they're doing that and to get their needs met. So another part of being a manifestor is, and every type has it, it's called our not self or our self theme. So the not self theme for a manifestor is anger. And where we're kind of wanting manifestors to be able to hang out is feeling peace. And so when a manifestor is at peace, it makes a huge difference. And when they're in anger, it's kind of telling them like, oh, something's off, something's maybe out of alignment, something's not quite right. So listening to that and learning how to trust ourselves in that is a big helpful piece. So if you're a manifestor, a big takeaway is how much and how impactful your voice is, how much your voice matters. People listen when you speak. So own it is a big part of this energy. Own it and allow yourself to be independent and to do the things that you feel sparked by. And also allow yourself to rest in the times where you just don't feel like initiating something and you don't feel like, when you don't feel the surge, trust your flow because your flow is not consistent. So then we'll go to generators. So generators are really here to do what they love doing. Generators do have consistent energy. So when you wake up in the morning, you have a full battery and you are meant to use that battery until you go to sleep at night. And so the more things that you do that you love, the more energy you have. And being around a generator who is like lit up and excited about what they're doing, you can feel that energy. And same goes for a generator who, let's say, is doing a lot of stuff they don't want to do. That is also felt, the draining of that energy. And a big part about generator energy also is that I always think of generator energy as like kind of a cozy hug. It's more open energy. People can sense into generators a little bit more about what they're thinking and what they're feeling. And yeah, there's just like a coziness to it. And generators are meant to get really physical with their environment and doing the things that they love, responding to their environment. So the strategy for generators is to respond. So to allow yourself to really tune into what you love, but truly about what's in front of you, what you want to do, putting yourself in front of the things that you love and that you want to do. And it's also important that generators really tune into what they want to and don't want to do, because other people think and feel generators are so capable because you are, and you have so much energy. So you're probably going to have a lot of people ask you to do things for you, or they're like, oh, this person can help me with this because they're so able, they're so capable. And again, you are, but you still have to decide what to say yes to and what you'd rather not do, because we want you to do more of what you love and more of what lights you up and more of just the things that you're saying hell yes to. And you'll most likely find that the more that you learn to listen to what you want to do and you give yourself that permission, there's a lot more self-trust that comes with it. The other part of it too is there's a magnetic element to it. The more you do what you love, the more the universe brings into you things that you're going to love, more things to say yes to, more juiciness of life. We're also a magnet in the other way, right? If you're doing a lot of stuff you don't want to be doing, operating from a lot of shoulds, the universe is like, oh, here's some more should stuff for you to do. So for generator, not self theme is to feel frustration, and the self theme is satisfaction. So that can be really telling if a generator isn't really operating out of their generator aura and things are feeling really out of alignment. It can be a signpost or a guidepost that they're maybe not listening or they're maybe not doing what they love. They're maybe spending a lot of time in the should place. They're going to feel satisfaction with life, satisfaction of the things that they're doing that they love. So that can be a really helpful way for us to notice when we're in flow with our type, if you're a generator. And then we have our manifesting generators. And our manifesting generators have the aura of a generator. So that part's really important when it comes to the consistent energy piece. When a manifesting generator wakes up in the morning, they have consistent energy, they have a full battery, and they're meant to use it, just like a generator. And same of that like open, cozy energy that mangens have, manifesting generator, mangen short, or manigen, depending on who you're talking to. And so there's a lot of similarities when it comes to generators, but manifesting generators do have a little bit more of the need to inform at times and share with other people what they're thinking and what they're going to do. And like using their voice is kind of in addition to their generator side. So the aura is the generator aura, and the manifestor side is making sure they're using their voice. Another difference about manifesting generators versus generators is that mangens are going to have a little bit more variety in the ways they want to use their energy. So a lot of manifesting generators have a lot of different things they want to do, a lot of creative projects happening at maybe the same time, and wanting to flow between them. So it's important that mangens have room to do what they love, but that might be like a couple different things at once. The not self theme for manifesting generators is a little different than generators because it's anger and or frustration. So it's the combination of the manifestor generator not self, and the self theme is the same, which is satisfaction. So each manifesting generator is a little different in that anger, frustration place, but really tuning into both of those descriptors can be helpful when things are out of alignment. And I think it's also important to note that it's not like we are trying to never feel our not self. That's not the goal, right? It's not that a manifesting generator is never supposed to feel angry or frustrated. That just wouldn't be human. It's more for manifesting generators to notice when they're feeling that way so they can take inventory and kind of tune into, am I doing the things that I love? Am I doing the things that are important to me? Am I doing what I think I should be doing? Am I holding on to a thing that I'm doing because someone else thinks I should be doing it? Am I tuning into something and doing it because I'm afraid people are going to think I'm a quitter if I don't keep doing it, right? Those types of things just help us get inventory. And then satisfaction is similar to generators, where it's like, am I doing a lot of what I love in my life? Am I showing up authentically and in flow with how my energy works? I'm probably going to feel a lot more satisfaction in my life. And again, not that you're supposed to stay there and you're supposed to always feel satisfied, because that's just not realistic and would most likely pull you into not self just by trying to be in satisfaction all the time. But it's more of, if we are able to tune into this flow, you're going to feel satisfied more often in your life. And then we go into projectors. So projector energy is very different from the other three that we talked about, because projectors can see into the auras of other people. I think of projectorness as like kind of like energetic X-ray vision. So sometimes when you're talking to people, it penetrates other people's aura. So projectors are here to guide other people and more show people what they're seeing than be someone who's like working and taking action all the time. Projectors need a lot of rest, and Projectors don't have consistent energy, and it's not like a manifestor in the way of having these big bursts of energy and then retreating. It's the bursts are less bursty in that way, where it's like projectors are only really meant to work like 4 hours a day or so on things that are really taxing and spending the rest of time on things that are really fascinating and passionate. And part of the projector strategy is waiting for the invitation in order to take action on things. Because projectors' energy is very penetrating, if you are, let's say, giving someone advice when they didn't ask for it, that can feel really like repelling or rude. Or even if your insight was really on the nose, if it's not welcome, it doesn't matter. And will sometimes make people shut down or just be like, you're kind of being mean, that kind of thing. So it's really important that projectors wait for the invitation for their guidance or their advice or what they see to be invited in. And when you're not getting an invitation, like we're not just meant to, as projectors, like wait around and do nothing. It's more of when you don't have the invitation, do the things that are fascinating to you, read the things that are fascinating, build what you want, right? Like you don't need to wait for an invitation to do things that are important to you or to like, what's a good example? Like you don't need anyone's permission or invitation to start your own business, right? It's more of like if you are going in and penetrating someone else's aura and then you're going to tell that person about themselves or a situation when they haven't asked for it, that's where the invitation's needed. So when your energy is exchanging with other people's. So sometimes projectors have to learn the art of biting one's tongue. I think of it in terms of consent. Other people are allowed to not want our insight as projectors. Other people are allowed to not be ready for our insight or to want the insight from someone else. So it's our job as projectors to wait for that invitation. And there's also an intuitive element of, okay, let's say someone says that, yeah, you can tell me the thing. But if you're like, I don't think they want it, actually, that we still hold back and don't say the thing. The not self for projectors is bitterness. And this can show up in a lot of different ways, but often when projectors are not feeling recognized for what they can see and what they know and who they are, bitterness can be a part of that. And also, if a projector is maybe pushing past their rest needs or, any of those things, it can tell us, okay, something's out of alignment. I'm feeling a lot of bitterness lately. Some people might resonate with the word resentment, bitterness, but it's kind of more of that like feeling of when it comes to being around other people. And the self theme for a projector is success, feeling successful in, it doesn't have to be a particular thing, but feeling successful as an experience that you're having. And that can show up in a lot of different ways. I notice that, like, if I am doing a session with someone and it just feels really like we're really in flow and I'm really hearing them and they're feeling really seen by me, when I end the call, there's just kind of this overarching, like, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. I feel successful. I feel like I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it can feel just really rewarding. So successful, rewarding, just like a yes kind of moment. Then we know that as a projector, you're feeling in flow, you're feeling in the right spot. And then another energy type that is different than the other ones in a big way is reflectors, and that's the last one. And reflectors are really unique. So it's about 1% of the population. It's rare to have a reflector around you, and when you do, so wonderful to have a reflector around you. But it's also so unique, so you might notice and feel into the difference. So our reflectors are here to feel the collective deeply, mirror back to the collective what is happening, or even to each person. So they have an undefined chart altogether. Like when you look at a reflector's chart, it's all white. So there is no defined centers in the chart. And so their aura is meant to be sampling of everybody else's energy around them, and then they let it go. So they're meant to feel something and let it go, and be influenced by the collective and let it go. And they are going to experience a day as very different from the day before it. And they're meant to really tune into the moment. And each moment is going to be a different moment, or each day is going to feel different. And kind of leaning in and accepting that they're influenced by the world around them, the people around them, and they're reflecting back everybody else. So I do think of reflectors as like the mirrors of the collective. And so when you're around a reflector and you're noticing, let's say you're like, this person is so this, we also might have to check in of, are they actually showing me? And how do I feel about me in this moment? And because reflectors have that sampling aura where they're sampling kind of everything around them, they're also protected by the conditioning in a different way than other types. And their strategy is around like waiting and being connected to the lunar cycle. Being connected to the lunar cycle means that they go through all the 64 gates in the human design mandala, and they're meant to sample and touch each one of those. So reflectors are really meant to surrender to the differences of each day and be open-minded to what life has to offer. And the not self for a reflector is disappointment. And the self theme is surprise. So really that shows us like if a reflector is trying to control life and control moments, they're most likely going to sense and feel a lot of disappointment. Versus when reflectors are open to what life has to offer, it's like getting surprised by the universe is how you know you're in flow. Your human design type tells us so much about you. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Like there's so many details to know about yourself when it comes to human design and the gene keys and diving in. But there is an element of practicing your type, strategy, and authority are really important when it comes to even accessing your other gifts and tuning into them. Because if you're, let's say, a projector who's not getting enough rest and is working like a generator and trying to have consistent energy like a generator, it's going to actually be hard for you to be in service of the whole and be here for what you came here for. So it can make it hard to live into your purpose. And that happens a lot with all the different types is we're conditioned to be all the same, right? We're conditioned to operate the same and have consistent energy and show up to a 9 to 5. And for some people, you might love your 9 to 5 and your 9 to 5 feels so good. Awesome. And also, if you're going to a 9 to 5 every day and it feels really draining and exhausting, it's also hard to do things outside of work that you love because you're like, I don't even have the energy for it. So it makes a big difference in our life to know what our type is, even if you're like, I'm not really listening to it right now. I'm not really following it right now. Just the awareness of where you're not following it, or, where you're like, I'm not listening to what I want at all, and I'm a generator, let's say. It just gives us a really good starting point. And it helps bring it into awareness of, okay, well, what happens if for one day, like 24 hours on a weekend where I'm not working, I just listen to my type and strategy. And you can maybe add your authority too. If you're like, okay, I want to do a whole day where I'm listening to these three pieces of information, just notice what kind of day that feels like. Like if a generator for 24 hours only tuned into what do I want? What do I want to do? What do I want to do right now? And you put your body in front of the things where it's like, do I want to watch TV? Do I want to go outside? Ooh, okay. I don't know what I'm going to do once I get outside, but I want to go outside. Okay. And then we go out and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so for 24 hours, what does it feel like to listen to how you're meant to operate just from an aura perspective? What else starts to happen? So that's my challenge to you. One day, trying to listen to your type and your strategy and operating with your world and with the people around you in that way. And just seeing what you notice, bringing it into awareness. And then on the days where you're not in that kind of experiment of listening to it, noticing the things that you're doing that you're like, okay, this is actually pulling me into my not self. I'm spending a lot of time here, whether that's frustration, anger, disappointment, bitterness. And what are the experiences where I'm on the other side, where I'm feeling into my self theme, where I'm satisfied, where I'm at peace, where I'm feeling successful, where I'm surprised with what life has to offer. It starts with kind of playing with these different concepts. Oftentimes, what people notice is even if you do it for 24 hours, how much of a shift just that one 24-hour period is where you're listening to yourself. And it goes deep, right? When we're listening to our type and our strategy, and again, I'll add on authority, we feel more in flow and we get a taste of ourselves more. So when we can do this with compassion and when we can take away the shame from it, it starts to feel more like, oh, there I am. Like, there's my natural way of operating. I'm not fighting against myself all the time. And we get to start noticing what feels for us and what doesn't. And what are the environments that feel really good and what environments don't. And I want this to feel really grounded in the reality that you're living in. That we're not going to like wave a magic wand and tomorrow you're like, I'm only doing the things that I love and only doing the things that I want to do. Maybe some people can do that, but I know that that's not something that everyone can do right in this moment. So even if there are moments and times where you can intentionally practice this more and notice the shifts that happen, that can give us buy-in to, okay, well, what if I did get to do what I want to do more often than not? What changes? What if a projector gets more rest and they actually don't feel guilty and lazy for resting, but they're like, this is how I'm meant to operate. I'm meant to rest. And it feels like permission to rest. What changes? So that's my hope and wish for you. Not to just dive in expecting it to happen every day, because again, I don't think that's realistic for everyone. But are there moments where you get to practice this? Are there moments where you get to feel the flow? And that you can give that to yourself more often, little by little. And hell, if you want to do it all the time and you want to dive in, also go for it, because I have found that taking the leap into I'm a projector, I need to run my life like a projector, it has made a huge difference in my life to do that. So if you can leap, I'm also not saying not to do that, because I truly have tried to build my life around being a projector and I have been rewarded for it. Physically, health, my job, all of those different things. And operating as a projector has truly brought more flow and more success to my life. So feel into what's right for you. Feel into, okay, do I want to dabble with this? Do I want to dive in? Either way, you will be supported. So, thank you for joining me today at Soul Footing Guidance. I would love to work with you one-on-one, especially if this is feeling really fascinating. This is feeling really satisfying to learn about your human design type, your strategy, your authority. If it's really resonating with you, there'll be a link in the notes to join me for one-on-one mentorship where we go really deep, way beyond strategy and authority, but that's our starting place. So really learning how to use this in your life, how to build your life around these things and operate in more flow, and then going really deep into your chart, into the gene keys, transmuting patterns, learning about yourself deeply, loving yourself deeply, and healing relationship dynamics, having a different experience with relationships moving forward. So apply to work with me. I'd love to have you, and subscribe to get more videos like this one. And also you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Soul Footing Guidance also. And I'll see you next time.